expecting the defense to close its case, making the last witness to take the stand. There's certainly Professor Derman, who has given extensive testimony about how Oscar Pistorius is not able to operate on his stumps. And certainly, you know, what came to a surprise yesterday as well was that the video that was leaked over the weekend showing Oscar Pistorius reasonably balanced on his stumps was not really introduced in court, but we did see the state very strategically try to bring it in by asking Professor Derman about Oscar Pistorius' movements and whether he's able to walk backwards. Now, you recall that video was a serious talking point both here in South Africa and throughout the world as the Oscar Pistorius trial was continuing, relating to the main question of whether Oscar Pistorius was able to walk on his stumps on the morning that he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp, what his intention was. And certainly a lot of testimony we've seen inside this courtroom, and we're expecting today a postponement to allow both sides to prepare closing arguments. We're expecting a postponement of between 4 to 6 weeks, Ayanda, and then we'll return for closing arguments, but then another postponement is expected for the judgment.
Now, I didn't ask you this off air, but it has been quite a trial. You mentioned that it's made headlines all over the world. Could you just wrap up maybe one or two of the highlights that really came to the fore that have shocked us, just as that recent video that showed us that's a surface now? That's one of the things that's a side show. It's not really what was happening inside the courtroom, but it has since shocked the world. What are one or two of the others that we may have forgotten? Because I know my memory doesn't serve me very well at the moment, but I know it's been quite a roller coaster.
I think very importantly to note, Ayanda, is that really, you know, the South African justice system has also very much been on trial here. The world's eyes are on South Africa to see how the South African justice system works. You know, justice really needs to be seen to be done in this case relating to Oscar Pistorius, irrespective of what conclusion is reached in this case. And, you know, in the very beginning, we saw issues relating to alleged police bungling that came under the spotlight, really casting a doubt on whether the South African police are able to do their jobs. And then after that, the graphic images and the detail that came out from inside this court relating to the events that happened inside Oscar Pistorius' home when he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp. The images that were beamed inside the courtroom really sent chills down our spines as people who were sitting in that courtroom and listening to proceedings get underway. And, you know, trying to look at Oscar Pistorius as well. The Oscar Pistorius who we all knew as a star track athlete who performed well and put South Africa on the map, to see him broken inside court and to monitor the behaviors of the families. This is where you really got to see two families come together, one who's lost a child and one on the other end who believes that what their son had done was a complete mistake. So to monitor all of that, and certainly the graphic images that came from inside court, the focus being on Oscar Pistorius and his family and whether Oscar Pistorius intended to shoot and kill Reeva Steenkamp. Certainly it has been a very interesting trial, and really we're looking to what the court may find now, in spite of all the detail that has come out. Now recently, of course, the psychiatric reports, that's one of the about turns that had been taken in this case, where Oscar Pistorius, no one had anticipated would go for a psychiatric evaluation. We've since heard that it does not suffer from a general anxiety disorder. So certainly a trial that many have said has really taken the world by storm.
Indeed, and we focus on the murder charges, and rightfully so. We call it the Oscar Pistorius murder trial. But there are also those gun-related charges on the fringe as well that Judge Masipa will have to decide on. I wonder whether or not you can still hear us. Chriselda was wondering, the gun-related violation, the charges that he faces as well go over and above murder, but that's something we'll perhaps look at a little bit later, you and I. I know that time has run out, but there's a lot on the go there, and thank you so much for those updates. Now remember, channel 404 on DSTV, SABC News, that's where you can go if you want to get regular updates from Chriselda Lewis and the rest of the team station there at the North Gauteng High Court. We'll have to hear from her a little bit later.